안녕하세요. Big pleasure to be here. First of all, I would thank Professor Hong for the friendly introduction of mine. And you are all the, how can I say, the guys who have to get a lecture at 7 at night. That is, of course, is normal in Korea, right? I already thought I have to have worries about you to listen to a boring lecture for 2 hours. But I promise I will try to do my best not to talk too much about company details. Please go through. You're welcome. But to have a bit more time for a discussion. I would like that very much. A discussion that we can exchange a bit our views about life, that if you have any question, what I could recommend for a big career or not so big or whatever you want to know, would be a pleasure to discuss that. Well, you see, we talk about, as we are the, let me say, innovation leader in the car industry, you see, I have most modern technology with me today. That was a couple of years ago, 120, but I will come back to that. But even much more important in my view, and that goes already not so much into company, I would like to start with something completely different. What had a certain impact into my life a long, long time ago. This was a company seminar we had. And this guy had the task, it was a kind of mental stability, yeah, to give. I was a salesperson at that time, and sales is not always funny in modern times, you can imagine, yeah. Everybody wants to bring you in price down. There are many tools how to smash you down. Please, yeah, just feel free. Come in. I was too early. And this guy, a psychologist, he more or less collected all the knowledge of great philosophers of world religion and tried to teach us a bit. And he started with a thing I would like to do with yourself as well. As he was saying to us, you know, first of all, just if you decide, I mean, you are in a very prestigious university and can have more or less any future you want to have. But first of all, you need to decide for yourself what is the most important thing in life. And he did a nice exercise with us. I'd like to do with you as well. There is such an easy tool. Look, made from wood. And we have here just about 100 centimeters. 100. And now imagine, and that is easy, every centimeter would be 1 living year. 1 year of your life. And then I have a very good message first. In your age, you have a very big chance to run through all here, to become 100 years old, or even older. For me, that will be already a bit limited, I think. Yeah? Not sure if I can make that. But now we do a different exercise. If one of you just shows me roughly, if this is 1 living year, 1 centimeter, where he is already now. So I just walk, not to you, you can keep this. I walk to this young man here. So if we go, I mean, you must not be absolutely precise, okay? Your secret, but roughly where we are on this scale.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be bigger.
I will not show it directly, okay? To have some secret. But you see, and this is very important. I take this again. You see, if it's 100, and that is many, many years, we passed already in this young age quite something, right? And the not so good message is, you know, you have a high probability for this 100, but no guarantee. Life can end tonight or tomorrow, yours and mine. And so I will not go too deeper. I see it already. Not the topic you expected. But what you should do is, you should always know what is the most important? What are the most important things in your life? And I know what I'm talking about, you know. I spend a bit too much time for career, could be, and not enough with the family, you see. So whatever it is, you know, priority, and I would then ask you, give you a minute time, and write down the three most important, many of you might have thought about, three most important things when you know life ends. What do I want to have achieved? What is the most important? And that can be a big career, that can be money, that can be family, that can be supporting others in need, that can be many, many things, yeah. But you just should be aware of what it is. As this life is so dynamic and is getting more and more dynamic, it can be just over and then you recognize, I missed it all. So please do me a favor only for yourself. Write down what you see as most important for you. I have to ask one question. Smokers, now be honest, where are smokers? Hidden smokers. Brave man, brave man. What I need to tell you is there is one slightly bad message. That is your expectation, okay? But you can change this anytime, yeah? That's fine already. I mean, if you would be one of those without any idea, then I would just recommend do it at home. Do it at home, and I mean what you know as well, and what this man told us at that time is, if you have a very strong wish, might be it is CEO Samsung, or might be it is healthy family, 3 children, then it's very, very important to think about this, you know. In the morning, you wake up, bed, and you see in a picture this family, 3 children, nice house somewhere, and if you visualize, your life will go in such a direction, of course with no guarantee, but it's an automatic thing, as you might know. But you must thesis ahead where you want to go and what you want to be. Good. So this as a start. Now we come back to this modern technology. I will, of course, talk a bit about leadership and how I think leadership should be, or can change things, or can contribute. We have a special headline for today. The game has changed, owns the future. And this is just a copy, I have to say. We had a CEO conference in Seoul just 2 weeks ago. 500 CEOs of foreign companies working in Korea. 90% of them Korean people. We recognized, and I think you all know, the world is changing faster than ever. Again, I have now, here's the advantage, I'm a bit older. So if I think back, you know, my life, how I grew up on a small farm in southern Germany, that was very much closer to this here, yeah? Than today. And if you see this here, this is very much closer to Stone Age than what we see today. So if you think, as I'm old but not such old, yeah, this small 50, a bit over 50 years, what changed? And if I then look how the dynamic is, you know, how faster it changes now, it will be incredible what you will see in your time. And of course, this will have a very big impact into our lives and into industry as well, to business life. That's crystal clear. But I think anyway you hear this every day. So what we just now see, you know, these big macro trends as climate change, scarcity of raw materials, we need renewables, demographics, urbanization, all these things. All this will go faster and faster and change our lives, and we have to adapt. And so the topic was a bit, how can industry survive? And principally I was, I think at least, invited as one example. Company is 127 years old now, and we saw some changes in our time, and we were very resilient, very resistant. So we lost the company twice completely after the war, clear. So after First World War, Second World War, and our company was then led. We had a big company after First World War in the US, America, by Americans, but that all died. And the old root company started again and became a worldwide enterprise. So the question was a bit why? What is behind? And today I try to focus a bit on that before we then really come to the more personal career and other thing. So what changed, to give you one example, and that is, by the way, what will change, from the horses to this one. So this car, or kind of those cars, will be very, very soon on the roads. Completely automatic driving, where you don't need to drive yourself anymore. Some might be happy, some not. But I think still you can drive yourself if you want. But we see this, and I come to that back at the end of my presentation, in a 10 years time. This is technically possible. Big question is, of course, other things. If two robots have a crash, who is the one who pays, and the guilty one? So there is, from legislation, a lot of questions open. But the technique will be there in a 10 years time. Okay. So now to change, and this is an interesting one, you all will know. Any idea where this could be? Difficult to say, I think. Is it Korea? It is Europe, and it is Rome, and it is the Vatican. And what you see are just tourists. You see here the crowd, tourists looking at the paintings, at the architecture in 2005. And now we will have a look 2013 to show you a bit a change that happened. This is 2013, you see? Here you see in a very dramatic way. And this is young people and old people standing there, how the world is changing. And I mean, this is not just for taking pictures, this changes our daily life, as you know, with Naver and Facebook and Kakao Talk and whatever we have. Okay. Now we come back to more to the horse time again, right? This is founder of our company. And if you look, when he was born, 1861, and in the age of his 20s, he founded already a company. So you must speed up, right? He was a very, very special man of his time, and I think this is the reason that he still has such an impact into our company after such a long time. He was a bit stubborn, to come first to the negative side, a bit stubborn, but he was driven by high values in his time, ethical and moral values. He never gave up, and this is amazing. So this is one, and we how can I say, over the decades, many people laughed about how can you, as a large company, follow so naive things, as I would rather lose money than trust, or integrity of my promises. And especially 70s, 80s, 90s, many people said this is old-fashioned, as the global world is running different, Just be fast, sharp, take what you can take, high profits, all those things. It changed a bit, so many look now again back to our company approach. It changed a bit when we had the financial crisis, 2008. Then it changed. Then people suddenly understood just being smart combined with criminal energy, that this is not good, and it's absolutely not good in banks or financial institutions. Nowadays we are modern again, yeah, but this can change again. I don't know. Our company doesn't care too much about that. But what I want to start with is a bit, the company itself is a very special one, yeah. So you can like it or not, that is all okay to me, yeah. I have no problem with that. But a company of this size, we are very, very special, as we still are rooted very, very much in what this founder believed in. And that a company only will exist a long time, and now I start with how can you survive? If the company makes sense, you know, if the company contributes to society, from what it does, save jobs, caring about people, customers as well, of course, but that is not the only sense and priority to make as much money as you can. That's not our priority. Okay. So as you should do when you start your company, very often at the beginning is a great idea, yeah, as Mark Zuckerberg and his Facebook, connect people. That was a bit different, of course, in the 19th century. So his big idea was this nice little machine, and this can generate sparks to ignite the combustion engine of cars. And that was an unsolved problem in his time, you know, when Daimler started with first cars at that time. Then Ford was already starting to go in bigger volumes with his Taylorism and new production technology. But they had no clever solution how to ignite, how to get the combustion. Yeah, exactly. So that was how you had to start. And they had at that time open fire, you know, gas fire. And then some valves opening to the fire, closing to the fire, with the effect that every fifth of the car was burning down. Yeah, and that the engines were very limited in the speed, of course. And with this one, that was then solved this principal problem, and made it possible, more or less, yeah, to bring really high volume cars on the street. And what he did very often, I have to say, this was already invented. And I think you can see that very, very often in inventions in general. It was invented, but stationary, yeah, for big machines in somewhere in plants or so. And he had just the idea, take it, make it smaller, and put it into a car. So very often you can generate, you know, a blue ocean strategy, take just existing things and make something new, as Apple did with the first smartphone. Or it was even not the first, yeah, but they just marketed it in a proper way. So this was a breakthrough, and then we were, based on this, very, very international, as Ford was absolute number one with his Tin Lizzie, where he said you can have any color you want as long as it's black. You might remember. So 90% of our sales was in America at that time, till First World War, I mentioned, and then we lost this all. Okay. So this is a company today. I don't want to make too much advertising. Not the largest, but not small, I would say, with over 50 billion euros turnover. What we have is still, and what we don't like too much, 60% very dominant in the automotive sector. And we always try to minimize risk a bit, yeah. And 60% you are really very dependent. And we saw this in the crisis 2008. Our automotive business went down 25%. And that was a hard hit. All the other business were running much more stable in this crisis. As we have here the industrial technology, that is, to give you one example, gearboxes for wind turbines, renewable energy. As we have energy and building, here we see a big future, I have to say. As the buildings, it's lousy, yeah, how we deal with energy. So there is an estimation we could save about 50% of the energy buildings use if we would do it in a proper way. So here we have some heating in and sensors and going more into energy management in the future. And you might have seen this in Korea as well, yeah. The consumer goods, where especially the power tools are running very, very well in Korea as well. All more or less, and that we do since the 70s, I would say, is in this idea going green. So for cars, less emission, less fuel consumption, but we do the same for the power tools, or lawn mowers, or wind turbines, or all is somewhere the idea behind bring this energy consumption down and support the environment. Now I come a bit, why do we think that we are more resilient as many other companies? And but I want to start again with, if you look around, if you are a big company, protects you a bit might be, but you can fail dramatically. As you see with Nokia now, we had others, Kodak, RIM with the BlackBerry. So there is many big companies just going down. And we are of course aware that this can happen to us as well, that is clear. But we try somewhere to keep course, I would say. So this is are several success factors. I don't want to stress all of it, but what we want to do is the independence, financial strength, the innovative strength, and the strategic farsightedness. As all those three, I think we are a bit special to many others. Okay, we start with independence.